It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and
Dave?
they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, episode 32, hashtag DMDMW. Everyone get your flutes in the chat. On this week's episode, Bryan Alvarez destroys AEW and Tony Khan's terrible booking. Dave Meltzer blames the fans again. Of course, LoPiccolo is akin to Lord Voldemort over there in Wrestling Observer Land. I am your host, Phil S. Marks.
Fucking Mark!
If you want to support the show, hit like, hit subscribe, hype the video if you're watching it on replay. Make sure you super chat in, become a member for 99 cents. I do bonus shows weekly, and that's on YouTube, or check out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times for bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, flutes in the chat, because it is time for everybody's favorite segment turned show, turned sometimes segment, but always a show, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
So Dave Meltzer avoids talking about LoPiccolo, and LoPiccolo goes out of his way to try and get the attention of Dave Meltzer, something we've chronicled here at PWT Live Show every Wednesday and Saturday night on YouTube, and something we've chronicled here at Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. And so LoPiccolo was slapping Dave Meltzer around again, and you know, Nick posts this. Dave moved the goalposts from AEW is getting a huge TV deal to technically Tubi is affiliated with Fox. Oh, and sorry, I missed this in my little preamble there. Eventually, we get to a moment in time that is one of my favorite moments in time in the history of F4W Online / Wrestling Observer. And Filthy Tom Lawler, who I swear is trolling Bryan Alvarez, gets Bryan, who we've also been chronicling as a guy who pretends that he doesn't know shit. He pretends he doesn't know. What are they called? The sickos? You know that they're called the sickos. So he does the same thing. We did this again on PWT Live Show every Wednesday and Saturday night on YouTube. Bryan Alvarez the other day was going, what is that show? I think it's I think it was called Unreal, WWE Unreal. And he plays stupid about shit that we know he knows about. Okay. Because he yelled at Dave about not watching Unreal. And they're going to fight a little bit later. But LoPiccolo's stirring up the shit with Dave Meltzer as he does. And, you know, Nick is like Lord Voldemort. They will not say his name. And Bryan Alvarez will reluctantly talk about it, even though he's been instructed not to. But Filthy Tom Lawler doesn't give a fuck. So we're going to get to that, but we need this first, okay? So LoPiccolo says, Dave moved the goalposts from AEW is getting a huge TV deal to technically Tubi is affiliated with Fox. This is like calling Spirit Airlines cost-effective and ignoring that you're sitting next to a loose door. AEW, it's cheap enough not to notice. How the fuck does Dave sit there and honestly go, technically Tubi is affiliated with Fox? Why the fuck would he even say that? Unless he's trying to draw to the fact that everybody was gaslighting including Swerve Strickland, about them ending up on Fox or whatever.
Baby, learn Meltzer Inferno.
So Dave Meltzer had this to say. There, has been a lot of talk. And look at my tweet here too. Like, I had to tweet this, and I was like, Dave's legitimately the worst writer of all time. So let's read this. There has been a lot of talk regarding the AEW deal with Tubi, which is affiliated with Fox and is the home of Evolve. So, again, which is affiliated with Fox. Maybe, I guess Dave's just throwing that factoid in there, but like, come on, dude. I guess, the idea, listen to this sentence. I guess the idea is that people who are clinging to the idea that every service that has a TKO property would be unable to affiliate with AEW. And again, Evolve is on Tubi. So what Dave's trying to do, he is trying to extrapolate something that isn't there. So he thinks that people think, because they say Tone's going to get booted off Paramount. He is so stupid, and he prowls Twitter at night, all oiled up on Twitter, to argue with sickos and wackos. And I don't know if these are the opinions he's seeing, but he thinks that people, the general consensus, and most people who argue against him and who have valid arguments against Dave would say something as stupid as whatever TKO is on, or whatever a TKO property is on, AEW can't ever be on ever. When it comes to Tubi and Evolve, Tubi and like Roku, they don't get involved in shit like that, first off. Secondly, it's Evolve. You're talking about all of AEW, all of their past shit as well. So Dave's talking like, oh, this big deal with Tubi. No, it's all their old shows. So Evolve gets fresh shows on there. They'll probably do more viewers than fucking AEW's old shit. Let's just be honest. And so Dave wants to sit here and be like, I guess the idea is that people, and listen to this shit, how he words this. I guess the idea is that people who are clinging to the idea that every service that has a TKO property would be unable to affiliate with AEW. So he guesses the idea. So now he's fantasy mark booking our ideas, guys.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Okay. Dave is, I guess the idea-ing what people say about AEW and shit. I guess the idea between people on Twitter is that people who are clinging to the idea that every service that has, he said that 4 times in one sentence, and he says the same thing. I guess the idea is that people are clinging to the idea, and I had to post this GIF, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg, Brett. He just repeats words, run-on sentences. It's fucking terrible. And this is how he fucking writes. I guess the idea is that I can't get over this. I guess the idea is that people who were clinging to the idea that every service that has a TKO property would. Whoa! Holy shit. You're using way too many of the same words in one sentence. So, and nobody thinks that, buddy. So when it comes to Tubi, nobody thinks that. And Dave is coping. This is cope because he's trying to speak in generalities so that you can use what he's saying here to try and tell people like LoPiccolo or others that they're fucking dumb and wrong. Well, AEW went to Tubi and like Evolve is on Tubi. Okay. That's not the same thing as Paramount working with UFC, being tremendously close with the people at TKO, Dana White, Hunter Campbell, Ari Emanuel, who is Ellison's personal advisor for like going on 2 decades, I believe, and friendly with the Trump administration and Dana White and Triple H and the McMahons and they were all at Freedom 250 hanging out. That's what people are talking about, Dave. It's not that, no, they can't go on there because UFC is on there. That's not the reason. It's because of all the behind the scenes shit that you don't know nothing about, right? So you trick fucking dumb fucks into believing what you're saying when this isn't even what anybody means when they go, yeah, they're friendly with TKO. It has nothing to do with, oh, there's a TKO property. You can't be on that same channel. And if people are saying that, then okay, they have a very surface level understanding, but why are you... That's like normie shit. Why do you even care about that, right? Like, I thought you were the deep, nuanced, very smart, multi-layered, Brian, poor people don't like
poor
AEW.
people don't like AEW.
We're the smart fans who are way smarter than every other fan, Brian. So it's like, what are you even trying to accomplish by doing this? It's insane, Cope. So Dave says this was another expose that is ridiculous, especially in this day and age. TKO couldn't keep PFL off ESPN. TKO couldn't keep Jake Paul's events off Netflix. Okay, TKO doesn't try to keep those events off anything, and nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. And if they wanted to, how do you know they couldn't have kept PFL off of ESPN? And I don't even think hold on. How many years was the UFC ESPN era? Okay, so exactly 7. Okay, let me dive deeper into AI. Google AI. Do. How many years did TKO own UFC during that era? It might have been the whole 7. 2 years and 3 months. So TKO only owned them for 2 years and 3 months during the ESPN era. So when UFC landed on ESPN, they were lucky to even be there, Dave F. Meltzer. Again, you just embellish the truth, or you just speak on shit you don't know about. So 2 years and 3 months of TKO owning them, they're like, yeah, we're getting the fuck off of ESPN unless they back the Brinks trucks up. And we're going to tell them to kick PFL the fuck off ESPN. Like, they didn't hold that power yet. They owed ESPN everything because they were on there for 5 years before TKO got involved, Dave. And obviously TKO was like a merger, so there were very large elements at play that are at play in TKO right now that were involved with UFC at the time, absolutely. But Dave, when you say TKO, that's embellishing the truth. Okay? That's embellishing the fucking truth, and you know that. Because it wasn't TKO at the goddamn time. And so you can sit there and be, oh, well, AEW actually, on a technicality, it is affiliated with Fox. Tubi's affiliated with Fox. That's technical. But then down here, you want to play embellishment and you don't want to be technical about it wasn't TKO the entire time they were on ESPN. Weird how you do that, man. Whatever decision Paramount Skydance will make next year. This is the whole thing too. They couldn't keep Jake Paul's events off Netflix. How the fuck would they keep Jake Paul's? What would that have to do with TKO and them? Well, Raw's on there. Okay. What does that have to do with his freak show boxing events? Well, he did an MMA event. They own UFC. Okay. So this is the same thing, Dave, where you're a fucking mark. People go, oh, Dana and Jake Paul, they fucking hate each other. Dana White's like, he's not banned from any. Jake Paul goes online, I'm banned from the UFC events. He's like, no, we don't show him on camera and shit. And Jake Paul goes to these events and people saw them talking at the fucking whatever. Like, you're just a mark, Dave. That's all it is. So ESPN TKO couldn't keep Jake Paul's events off Netflix. Whatever decision Paramount Skydance will make next year regarding AEW is a pure business decision based on the current contract. It is more cost. So now look at what Dave's doing. Now he's giving advice to Paramount Skydance in a run-on sentence that whoever works there would read. The lady at the desk would read this run-on sentence and then rip this up and not give it to her boss. She'd be like, some crazy person again. Listen to this. Whatever decision Paramount Skydance will make next year regarding AEW. So he starts the sentence by saying whatever decision they make, and then he gives them advice as a pure business decision based on the current contract, it is more cost effective to a ridiculous degree than either UFC. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, UFC is tremendously cost effective, whatever the fuck, and that doesn't matter, okay? Because they just, with way less viewership than Netflix, they did the same number. So Netflix MMA MVP did 17 million viewers. Dana White and them just came out with the numbers for the Paramount UFC Freedom 250, and Dana was saying it was going to do $1 billion and all this shit. It did 17 million viewers. They did the same number. But Paramount, this is why it's a huge W for UFC. Paramount has way less people sub to it than Netflix. Netflix is, compare the subscribers of Netflix to Paramount Plus. Like, let's just look this up here. Again, doing more diligence. So Netflix has over 280 million global paid subs. Paramount Plus has roughly 79 million to 88 million. Netflix is roughly 4 times greater viewers wise, but the UFC Freedom 250 did the same number as that Ronda fight. So that's fucking super crazy. All right. So that's what they're looking at. They don't give a fuck. Well, it's cost effective for them to get fucking maybe 10K people follow them over here to Paramount Plus. Dave. So shut up with this whole, it's cost effective and it's cheaper than UFC. So, I mean, you really want to get, okay, that's like baby, that's like little boy plays, man. They want to make like big boy WWE UFC moves. That's why Paramount, they shilled out all the money for South Park exclusivity and shit. That's why these streamers do that. They're not just looking to, like, if you're a Tubi or a Roku, yeah, okay. AEW is great for that. If you're YouTube or whatever, MLW Fusion and Tubi and shit, that goes hand in hand. It's just, I don't know. So Dave just really doesn't get it. It's just the super indie mindset. And Tone was able to just get so much money when there was a wrestling boom out of Warner Bros. But they owned a stake. And they could own, legally, they could own up to 25%. Now, that's not likely, but we looked that shit up too, Dave. And technically, if they filed it as something that just isn't making the money or whatever the fuck, we broke this down before, they could own up to 25% without having to disclose it. It just depends how they do their paperwork, essentially, is what it breaks down to. Now, I don't think that's the case, but I'm just throwing it out there. They had a vested interest in keeping AEW on the air and giving them money on paper, but not really giving them that amount of money. And Dave, of course, would knew that if he studied and learned. I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but this is so ridiculous. Let's look at this sentence. Let's break down this sentence again. Whatever decision Paramount Skydance will make next year regarding AEW, comma, as a pure business decision based on the current contract, comma, it is more cost effective, comma, to a ridiculous degree, comma, than either UFC or Zuffa Boxing are right now. Holy fuck.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
My goodness. So Dave goes, perhaps that will change in a year for Zuffa Boxing, but $100 million per year to deliver no numbers is a lot less cost effective than $185 million to deliver strong pay-per-view numbers, of which Paramount, do you see this? He's giving them business advice. Yeah, $185 million to deliver strong pay-per-view numbers, of which Paramount Skydance will make a cut. So he's telling them, give them $185 million again. Just do what they did last time because they ain't worth any more, even though they're worth less, but they do good pay-per-view numbers. Paramount doesn't want to do UFC pay-per-views, Dave Meltzer, you dumb fuck. Okay, Paramount said, UFC, you're not doing pay-per-views
The
anymore.
only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
So now you're sitting there saying that because AEW does good pay-per-view numbers in this incredibly long run-on sentence with one too many commas because you don't know how to fucking write or edit? Oh my God, man. What an insane person. Good ratings for Dynamite. Okay, but that doesn't translate. It doesn't mean they're going to come over and get Paramount Plus. And Paramount knows that. They're not stupid. And they have an ownership stake in the company. Right. So that's the only lifeline you have, Dave, is this thing. This whole thing should have not been there. All this run on you. Just fucking furiously typing away. Please, crying, wiping the tears while he's typing all this. It just should be, you'd have an ownership stake. And they do good pay-per-views, according to me. But even then, he just tried to give them advice. It's crazy. And Nick LoPiccolo felting him there. I'm not a shark, I'm a man. For 10, a huge support. Thank you so much. I'm not a shark, I'm a man. Phil, stopped watching wrestling for a bit. That's no good. Midlife crisis. Well, that's no good either, but I hope you're doing good, man. Still love the Chan, bro. Fuck yeah. I hope you're tuning in. Shout out fucking Dave Meltzer, dumb moment of the week, dude. I'll see you down the road. I'm not a shark. I'm not a fish. I'm a man. Juan Tenta. Okay, buddy. We'll take it easy and reach out and get in Discord or hit up the community section if you want to just come and be like, what's up? Not watching vids. How y'all doing? And yeah, dude, I really, really appreciate that. And everybody, you know what
Sometimes
they say.
in life, you got to be a hoe.
Just don't make any insane purchases or anything like that, okay? That you'll regret one post midlife crisis. I don't know. I'm not there yet. But okay, so speaking of midlife crises, man, Dave is just going through it. Dave is just going through it, and he's afraid to address Nick LoPiccolo. And so this guy here, and you can see what Dave Meltzer's been reposting. So basically, as we covered, again, PWT live show Wednesday and Saturday night on youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. Paramount and WBD are merging. People are trying to block the merger. It goes beyond pro wrestling and all this shit, obviously. In Hollywood, people are like, well, whatever. The DOJ, everybody said it's all good. It should be smooth sailing. They are merging. In fact, some people think it'll happen quicker than you thought, because things are really getting rushed passed through. And they were talking about, yeah, we want to get this deal done. We want this to get passed through by the September. We want to do it by the summer, but by September is when we're hoping. And then it got done in the summer. So again, we've covered all of this. You guys have seen all the quotes. And Dave Meltzer, though, he's on the other side. Like, he's this dude like retweeting shit like this. So Rob Bonta tweets out, the merger of Warner Bros. And Paramount is not a done deal and remains under investigation by my office. So again, it's like people last minute trying to appeal and review and revise, but it's like, you killed the bitch. I watched this documentary on Netflix last night called Maternal Instincts, or the Maternity Ward, or so, the Maternity Killer. And it's some lady who like lied about all this shit, and then she lied about being pregnant to everybody, and then it turns out I don't want to give spoilers and shit, but I mean, it's out there. Spoiler alert, plug your ears. Turns out she had a hysterectomy, and then she murders this chick who had a baby come in and then gave her a C-section, dude. It's like the craziest shit ever. And then like she's appealing, like the judge is like, put her on death row. Like, it's just this clear cut. It's like a small community. Everybody knew what happened. It's clear cut, a cut and dry case what happened. And I don't, cut and dry, is that a fucking I just made up some shit. I'm Dave Meltzer now. I'm over here now, Brian. Oh. Anyways, the point I'm making is these people are just scrambling, like trying to appeal. We're reviewing this one more time, even though it's like, no, it's done. You guys are finished. Like, you're going to prison. This deal's done. Warner Bros. And Paramount are a thing. Get used to it. It's just what it is. And so Dave is retweeting stuff like this. And then Nick LoPiccolo says, protect eunuch spaces, eunuch rights or human rights. And I just don't know. That's incredibly offensive, Nick. No. But this is why he won't talk about you, bro. So Dave Meltzer again, he's just coping more about AEW. And so, this guy says, AEW could be worth $2 billion on paper and not be. And again, it's cope about the whole $2 billion and the Forbes article or whatever the fuck where they were worth $2 billion. So Dave says AEW is currently the third most valuable combat sports franchise in the world, behind UFC and WWE, ahead of all other MMA, boxing, kickboxing, and pro wrestling groups, valued at $2 billion before its most recent rights deal. I think calling it a business flop is hilarious. Okay. I don't think it's a flop, but their other money is funding it. Like, Dave, you have to understand, Tone's a money mark. Was Ring of Honor worth what Tone paid? No. If WWE and TKO pulled up and said, we're going to buy this from you, would they value it at $2 billion? Fuck no. Yeah, but they're trying to undercut them because they're in the same business. Okay, but some mark in a Forbes magazine just valued them at $2 billion. And I love how Dave wants to flex this. He's so dumb. He doesn't realize how this backfired on him then. And it's like, whoa, guys, stop glazing AEW. They're valued at $2 billion. They're doing 1,000 seaters. They're doing 1,200 people in their year-long reigning world champions fucking hometown. I guess he dropped the title before. But still, when Mox was the champ, he wasn't drawing shit. And I made fun of him for going to Ohio as the world champ and not drawing shit either. And doing more when he faced Samoa Joe in a fucking cage. So, in not his hometown. Last year, that was my go-to diss on Mox, okay? This year, it's you went to your hometown and they did fucking 1,200 people in like a 1,700-seater or whatever. So, when Dave says 185 million, the pay-per-views were astronomical, valued at $2 billion, and then they go and do 3,000 people, and they're dead as fuck, and the crowd doesn't know anybody involved in they don't know any of the characters, they don't care, and it's a boring-ass show, and they want to see Edge and Christian fight, but they're just out there cutting a fucking promo, and you send Daniel Garcia out there to do goofball shit, and then you go to Cincinnati, and Mox goes out there, and it's fucking 1,200 people and nobody cares. And then their Double or Nothing does 8,000 or whatever. Wembley, they do 24,000 people. Okay. MSG house show does 19,000 people for WWE. So what is that? What is Wembley? What's the point of even going there? It just makes them look stupid. Now, if you were just honest about this shit and didn't bring a $2 billion before its most recent rights deal. Okay, but the recent rights deal was upwards $185 million. That wasn't all cash, that they didn't all get in cash, and Tone is losing money. His roster costs more than $100 million. So there's no way to put on all these shows. He's bringing in more money than that. They have the cheaper tickets. They brag about the cheaper tickets. They're doing way less seats, way less views. JD from NY was talking about how wrestling YouTube has taken a hit the last couple of months. It fucking has. And across the board, and how even talking about AEW isn't getting as much views as it was. Like, even the hate watching of it is just becoming trivial. And it is, because it's about to enter an era of TNA. Like, remember when TNA, like, yeah, it was on and you kind of kept up with the EC3. Like, maybe you watched it, not a lot of, but most people just pirate shipped it because you didn't even, where's Destination America? I live in Canada. I don't even have that channel, and fucking TNA, like, so you kind of knew about Moose and, like, okay, Lashley's over there, but it's just a show. No one's watching. It doesn't matter. And we have to sit there and go, well, it is the number 2 because maybe Ring of Honor. Is Ring of Honor overtaken TNA? Like, that was the conversations. Maybe Ring of Honor feels hotter than TNA. That was the conversations for a while. That's what it is with AEW. It's now entering TNA era, and it's just it's going to be way less people watching it, nobody watching it. You're going to lose those 200,000 floaters that'll throw it on TNT, TBS. On regular TV, you're going to lose them because it's not going to be on there anymore. And they're not going to pay Paramount Plus to make sure that shit's on their TVs. We can track that because if there's anything else on, they go and watch whatever else is on that's more pressing. So, again, he's like, oh, business flop. Is it a flop? I mean, No, because they have infinite money. So is it really a flop? No. I mean, he keeps it afloat. But if you just, in a vacuum, is it a flop? They haven't made money. They're trending downwards viewership-wise. They're trending downwards pay-per-view sales-wise that anybody can prove or track with math. They're going down Google trend-wise. They're going down. Their YouTube numbers haven't exploded. They're going down as far as content creators talking about AEW and shit, according to JD. Go, right? They're going down in every metric, essentially. And then you can sit there and go, well, Nielsen inflated and then it deflated and it blah, 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 blah. All you can do is look at the Nielsen ratings and go, who even knows how they come to this number, but we're just going to look at that. And if you look at that in year one, the business is cut in half. So I just really don't know what Dave wants anybody. He just makes them look stupid by arguing shit like this. So Dave Meltzer goes, I think starting a company from scratch, having it worth $2 billion after 5 years is a success. And keep in mind, it would be worth more since revenues are way up since the latest valuation. So how the fuck are revenues up when they're bragging about charging cheaper tickets and their attendances are down and people are like, they do 3,000 for, okay, here's the thing though, their tickets are cheaper. And the last time they did the valuation, AEW was being accused of gouging and shit.
Liar!
So Dave, you're lying. AEW, the criticism levied against them was that they were price gouging. The last time they went to Australia, they were accused of price gouging. So how are they up now since their last valuation when in the last 2 years they've ran those gaming centers or whatever the fuck that do 900 seats? What are they charging TKO numbers for those tickets? Dave is pretending that the pay-per-view numbers are up. That's the only thing he can say. The numbers are up and they're selling all these pay-per-views because it's the only thing nobody can prove, because it's impossible to get all the Triller numbers, all the fucking HBO Max numbers, all the Amazon Prime numbers, all the fucking traditional pay-per-view buys, what the buys are like in bars and shit. Now my AEW is a factor, and I think you can buy the pay-per-views off there in certain markets. Maybe that hasn't been rolled out yet, but either way, it will be. So, and then of course Tone will tell him those numbers, but it's impossible to actually figure it out. But when you use the numbers Dave gives, people have broken it down. LoPiccolo said, I think he's inflating 31%. What have I been saying for fucking years? He's been inflating at 30% because he just openly admitted that's what he's doing. What did that one buddy who did that chart and compared it to WCW and WWE in the Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars era in their prime? He compared the percentages, the conversion rates, and Dave's shits are just all over the place. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Dave's percentages were like it'd be way up 1 year, way down, but still up for what the conversion would be comparably to the Attitude Era for AEW compared to back when pay-per-view was pay-per-view. And it's like, dude, and the economy was okay, and then the economy was good and shit, and there wasn't fucking piracy. You couldn't just Google watch this and then fucking, some site r/piracy on fucking Reddit or whatever, like you couldn't just find a link in 1 second back then. So Dave is just completely cooked and fried with all of this, and he's just so out of touch. And LoPiccolo says the sentence is not AEW is worth $2 billion. The sentence is a private company with no public audited financials received a media estimate valuation in 2024 based largely on revenue. Boom. Holy shit. So again, if Dave didn't fear facts,
baby, learn Meltzer Inferno.
LoPiccolo just told him how to word this, and we would go, damn, Dave is based. He has expert analysis.
Or the young superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So,
but because the best guy's Tony Khan,
Tony Khan
can't help himself. So, pardon me. We move along here, And Meltzer said what? Post this clip. And he says, can you imagine how tacky it would be to pretend you don't know who someone something is that you clearly do know? Who is this mysterious agent of Drew McIntyre's that landed him this role in The Last Druid? He's bad. He's beautiful. He's crazy. He's the man with no name. And it's like Nick LoPiccolo is Lord Voldemort to these motherfuckers. Okay? I don't know how Dave goes about this and how Bryan tolerates this. But Bryan, we have a clip from him. Shout out Filthy Tom Lawler. I swear he's just been trolling Bryan on their show forever. Like, Filthy Tom Lawler does not give a fuck. And he's an absolute gem. I implore you to watch. Go back if you can find clips of it. I think you can just type it in on YouTube, and there's a channel called Lerone. Shout out Lerone. And he clips all the Ultimate Fighter seasons. And I think he did a compilation of all of Tom Lawler on the Ultimate Fighter. He's fucking hilarious. Anyways, we'll play that clip in a second. But Dave has to pretend. And Bryan has to pretend because he's been instructed to. So Dave was instructed by Tone, don't bring up Nick LoPiccolo. We know this because Dave said that on a fucking message board and instructed his cronies on his message board not to talk about Nick LoPiccolo. And then we know Bryan was instructed not to because he does this thing where he plays stupid, which he's done with, what do they call them? Sickos? Oh, what's that show? WWE Unreal, I think. So he's done that multiple times. He plays stupid about Nick LoPiccolo. Let's get into this. Shout out the GOAT. Meltzer said what as well. Give him a follow on X.
As reported, it says here by Bryan Alvarez. Interesting. How about that?
Is this just trying? This might just be trying Bryan too, but we know that Dave avoids talking about it and instructed Bryan not to talk about it.
Drew McIntyre also cast another Hollywood movie. He will star in The Last Druid, featuring Russell Crowe, his son Tennyson Crowe, and numerous others.
Is it a...
Dude, that is absolutely unfucking believable for Drew McIntyre. And I told you, motherfuckers, Highlander's just the beginning. Not only is he like a big deal in Highlander, he's starring in it, but he's not like the star of it. I mean, dude, a movie with Russell Crowe, and it's a vehicle to try and launch Russell Crowe's kid. And you have, fuck, man, it rules so hard. And again, like, whether or not it's because Hollywood that Drew is or isn't on TV is neither here nor there. But that's why they don't put the world title on him and shit, you know, and they didn't do it for a long ass run because Buddy's going to be gone doing movies. Like, this is a bigger deal than, and here, like, okay, and I'm not trying to knock Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns, but being like, that's an ensemble cast with a bunch of names and it's a video game property, you know, so Rhodes and Roman, huge deal. Those are big time movies. Or Street Fighter will be big time movies. I'm telling you, there's going to be more than one of those. They're going to get a franchise out of that. And Guile's a huge role in that, I'm assuming. And I'm not shitting on that at all. But this is like Highlander with Cavill, dude, with fucking Superman, you know? And then you're doing Russell Crowe and Russell Crowe's Kid Crow, dude. Like, that's big time shit right there. That's like, you know, The Rock's like, oh, I'm doing a fucking Scorsese film. There's like things you want to check off your list in Hollywood. One, you want to work with a guy like Cavill. Two, you want to work with a legend like Russell Crowe. Shit, what's next? Leo? You can do Leo next there, Drew? Fucking killing the game. Anyways, who's next? Idris Elba versus Drew McIntyre? Or they're in a buddy cop movie? There you go, Hollywood. There you go, Nick LoPiccolo. Pitch that shit. Anyways,
as reported, it said in The Last Druid, featuring Russell Crowe, his son Tennyson Crowe, and numerous others.
Is it a play on words?
The Last
Or is
Druid?
Yeah, is it
No, it's actually about a druid.
DREWID?
A story of a druid discovered by a
Oh God, I love it.
Roman emperor, forcing him to protect the people under the reign with Crow's character.
Tom Lawler with that really dry dad humor. Like we have to start calling him Bryan. Okay, because he's very dry. Bry's very dry. Okay, and I think he's a dad, right? So, like, Tom Lawler's trying to get him to fucking loosen up and not be like, so they said this, so this movie was so he's throwing in these little, punny, it's not even a pun, but like little like dry dad jokes to loosen up Bry, he just can't. He's so uppity, and it's so funny. We're gonna watch the actual clip of Bry squirming, but this is like a longer version of it.
Anyway, yeah. So that's what he's doing. It's actually already filming in Spain. So I guess we'll find out when Drew ends up coming back. But if you're wondering where Drew McIntyre's been, he's got a lot going on right now.
Who got him that deal?
I don't
Do
know.
you know who Drew McIntyre's agent is?
Who got him that deal? I don't know. Now Bry has to play stupid because this is the funniest shit of all time. And Filthy Tom Lawler is not going to not talk about Nick LoPiccolo. Okay? And the fact he's bringing it up on the Observer is so fucking based. We need a based flute for the fucking... This is going to become the Filthy Tom Lawler flute right here, dude. Oh, man. So funny.
Oh, you should probably hire that guy.
Huh? No clue?
Who is it?
I don't know.
You looking for a new agent?
I don't know. Is it LoPiccolo?
I don't know who it is. Raw is tonight. We got the King of the Ring.
Okay, we gotta watch the actual video footage, but this shit is so funny. So here's the actual video of it, posted by Filthy Tom Lawler himself, responding to Nick LoPiccolo. So Nick LoPiccolo, of course, drops this: "Say my name, say my name. Nobody's around you. Say, baby, I love you. If you ain't running game." So this was deleted, I think. No. Or did I get blocked by the Wrestling Observer account? No, I didn't. Okay. WWE star Drew McIntyre cast in a Hollywood movie. Why won't they say my name? And again, so Nick LoPiccolo also posted, like, when Variety or Deadline or whatever writes an article about it, they go, or the Hollywood Reporter, they put in there, Drew's represented by Rare Standard, Paradigm, whatever, and everybody was like, oh, he's gone from Paradigm, he loses everyone. No, that's not how it works. Will the Paradigm people try and court him away? There's a possibility. Well, do they still represent him? Are there other people that Nick helped close deals with for other people at Paradigm that Drew still is going to have a relationship with? And yes, some people are repped by multiple fucking thing, but Rare Standard's like in there, and that's the name of Nick's new thing that he's got going, right? Rare Standard co-founder Amana. So the Observer won't put that in there. And I mean, they don't have to. I guess they're focused on like pro wrestling, but I just love watching Bry squirm.
You know who Drew McIntyre's agent is?
And Nick LoPiccolo was like, Brian's not the ops. And I'm like, speak for yourself, bro. He fucking is over here. Oh, shit. So,
you know who Drew McIntyre's agent is?
I don't know. You should probably hire that guy.
Huh? No clue?
Who is it?
I don't know.
Look at the fucking... Look at his face. He's trying to make Brian say it. Right? Because he knows that Dave told him that he can't say shit. And Filthy Tom Lawler's like, I thought this was America. It's the funniest thing ever.
You looking for a new agent?
I don't know. Is it LoPiccolo?
I don't know who it is.
You know who Drew
Oh, my good gracious. So that's an amazing clip right there. Shout out Filthy Tom Lawler. So speaking of WWE, we have some WWE cope in here from Dave Meltzer, of course, because why wouldn't we? But he also put some WWE stuff over a little bit, and I swear to God, Tone Khan has been listening to PWT. I brought up Tony Nese, and then I said he should have Maya World win that fucking tournament, or at least make it to the finals, and that's what he's doing. And some people are shitting on it, and I think that's unfair. You got to give, like, Maya World's getting a fucking vignette every show, and they're pushing her, and it's like, at least they're trying to build someone up, do something new and fresh. So shout out Maya World. And yeah, I swear to God, like, they've been listening to PWT Confirmed. So I also put a poll in the chat that I want to check in on right now. Quickly over here at youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. Hit like, subscribe, all that good shit. Hit heart and retweet. And if you're watching this on replay, hype the video. Dun, 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 dun. What does Dave Meltzer fear the most? Facts, flutes, LoPiccolo, or Wagyu beef? We continue along. Make sure you guys vote in on the poll, okay? Because facts and flutes are tied right now. So let's get some more flutes in the chat. We might as well. Dave Meltzer talks about WWE a little bit here, and he starts putting over Axiom and Nathan Frazier. And again, we're in an era of NXT where we are seeing Fraxium go down there, and we're seeing Natty down there. There was a little while there where they kind of kept main roster more separate. Now, yes, Gargano goes down there for a one-off. Maybe you see Chelsea Green down there time and again, but they kind of kept it separate for a bit. They do these call-ups. Now they need to boost interest. They need people to know who some of these fucking kids are that they're bringing up. The ratings are in a bit of a slump. They need to boost them up now that playoffs are over. Again, the Gunther Rhodes title switch, commercial-free, 100% will be a title switch on SmackDown this Friday. Playoffs are all over. So they're going to try and pop a rating with that. And I've said this a million times. We've chronicled this here at DMDMW. Dave Meltzer loves Nathan Frazier, but he stopped putting Nathan Frazier over. And Nathan Frazier is the original guy, the first guy, at least that I know, at least on record in my mind, that Dave Meltzer was like, boy, if he went to, maybe him or Gable, because they were saying shit about Gable way back. But he would say, like, boy, if Nathan Frazier went to AEW, I mean, oh, he's so fast, and he has a speed, and he's just way faster than everyone. Da da da. And then Dave Meltzer rated Axiom versus Nathan Frazier, one of their matches in their series before they became a tag team. He rated it like 5 stars or 4.5 stars or something like that. And then Nathan Frazier quote tweeted the Observer, and he said, rare Dave Meltzer.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
And Phil S. Marks. But he was like, rare Dave Meltzer W. And that's when Dave never fucking glazed Nathan Frazier again. He never talked about how great his matches were. He stopped talking about, oh, his speed's so amazing and he's spectacular. And I don't, when people argue like, well, Will Ospreay's like the best in the world, and I go, is he really though? Like at what? Well, the moves he does and shit. Like, how do you argue? What is he the best at? He's a solid promo. His character needs some work. His promos are cringe as fuck, but like he can cut one, you know, you just need to reel it in a little bit, and not reel it in as like, don't be yourself. Reel it in as far as like focused on what gets over and what doesn't, and just not being all over the place, and not like one week you're Moxley's prison bitch, and then the next week you're fucking like out there going, oh, bruv, and the Fed and me wife's ass, bruv, and all this shit. It's like, okay. So with Nathan Frazier, it's like he can do everything Ospreay can do, but faster. Dave Meltzer even agrees with that. So like, what is this, you know, does really the in-ring shit matter that much? Like, what is it really about when you boil down what pro wrestling is and what the objective is and what fucking sells, because that's the objective. You're trying to fucking generate heat to work marks into fucking buying tickets. Say it again. You're trying to generate heat So you work a fucking angle to generate heat. You work a shoot and generate heat to work marks out of fucking money. Buying a pay-per-view or buying tickets to the show. It's all it fucking boils down to at the end of the day. Very simple. So, and it's always been that. So Dave now is putting over a Fraxium match again. So I'm not shitting on him for that. We already know he loves Nathan Frazier, but it's been years. Dave's over the breakup. Dave's over the fact that he got dissed by Nathan Frazier. And he's willing to put these guys over. And shout out Noam Dar, who has had a job in WWE and survived all these cuts and shit for so long for a fucking reason. Because Noam Dar rules. And so does Fraxium. Okay? But then Dave questions again, are these guys in the wrong company? So he wants to see these guys go to AEW and just not be used and be in Ring of Honor matches against Tony Nese or Private Party or whatever the fuck. That's all Dave wants again. Are these guys in the wrong company? Why is it the wrong company? If they had this type of match in this company, and this company has a way bigger platform and reach, audience-wise, wouldn't this be the right company for them? Oh, no, you just want Tone to lose more money, hiring these guys for more money so that they're not on TV and we don't get to see them wrestle. And that's the fucking problem. You don't get to, the Rascals get hired. Have they even had 10 matches between all of them? I bet they've had maybe over 10 between them all in AEW. But it's not like they got to push at the trios or the fucking, or the tag teams, like anything of substance, anything like that. So why would they go there? So that FTR and the Bucks and Edge and Christian can still fight for the belts? And isn't New Day coming in? Hopefully, if Tone's not a dumbass at all in. So, like, what would these guys do? Go to Ring of Honor and Collision? Is that what you want, Dave?
Some notes from NXT. This was a much better show than usual.
Real good show, I thought.
Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier.
This match was freaking awesome.
This match was apparently, they shot an angle, I guess, on social media, but like didn't advertise it. We had no idea Axiom and Nathan Frazier were working on this show, and they show up and they freaking had a great match.
This match was awesome. Oh my God. That Romeo, oh my.
He's actually.
That Romeo, oh my God.
Oh my God. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
That Romeo. And
He had that Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
Really, really good.
I mean, I've seen him in Europe, you know. And
of course you did. Of course Dave's seen him in Europe.
In some really good matches. I was very, very impressed with him there. You know, he's from Spain, Josiah. But, I mean, he was
the other week, it's Javon and Penta and Dave. He's all bum hurt because fucking Javon won't go to AEW, and because the fans roasted him for saying he should go to AEW, and then Penta because he left AEW. So Dave's like, oh, I mean, just a match where you do moves for the sake of moves, Bryan. Fucking Dave just loved this match, even though it's just, okay, Fraxium, you guys are in NXT and go do a bunch of crazy shit, fucking do a 5-star, everyone flying through the air, Dave Meltzer oiled up fucking match, you know, to get it fucking Dave and the sickos talking about it pretty much, right? It's like, you guys just go out there and do whatever the fuck you want, have a quote unquote banger, go fly around. You guys know what to do, right? So every match is that in AEW. Dave loves it. WWE picks their spots, and Dave loves this, but he doesn't like Javon and Penta because why? Because they shut down AEW and left AEW individually, and these are guys who never been to AEW yet, so you're trying to contract tamper on behalf of Tony Khan and get them to AEW, or what, Dave?
great. Noam Dar, you know, he's great. I mean, he's going nowhere, you know, and you know, Frazier and Axiom, those guys are so great. They, you know, they're in the wrong place. That's all I could say. They're just in the wrong place. Like, there's some people who are better suited for one place or another, and they're in the wrong place. And Josiah might be too, but because he's tall, you know, not tall enough. He's much taller than the other three.
I don't know what this means. Some people are in the wrong place. Like, how is they just went out there and had this match that you love? Okay. So if you want to say like people who need to be developed are in the wrong place, that's one thing. If you want to say that people like who are veterans in the game, like Fraxium, are in the wrong place, why? They are operating at the highest level company. And that's just that. I mean, what else do you need? You just want to see them do flips on fucking Collision or on my AEW right away. You want to see them versus Mystico and fucking Daniel Garcia, Dave. That's all. That's the only difference.
Good body, 21 years old.
Really good body, 21 years old. Do you have his phone number, Bryan? So we move along here. And Dave Meltzer, he keeps talking about WWE a little bit. One more clip of WWE stuff. So Road Dogg says WWE was more about business than wrestling. And this is Bryan Alvarez and Dave Meltzer's take on all of this.
The Road Dogg is in after whatever happened with WWE. He got blamed for a lot. Other people say it was blown out of proportion.
Well, I mean, the thing
we'll find out soon enough.
Well, the thing with him was that, let's face it, they made him look really bad on the Unreal show, and that was the beginning of the end. And it was his decision. Remember, he decided to leave. It wasn't like he was fired there. I think it was just, and he said that it was weird, some of the stuff he said. I mean, one of the things he said was like, they were treating it like a business, not like wrestling or something to that effect. And it's like, it's always been a business. It's never been about wrestling. It's always been about the bottom line for like everyone.
But I just don't, what does that mean, bro? It's always been about the bottom line through doing what? It's like saying, well, the UFC's never been about the fights. No, it's all about fucking fights, but it's just a matter of like, well, do they want the best or the biggest names, even though the biggest names might be two fucking chicks about to go through menopause. Their menopause is about to synchronize or whatever the fuck. No, I'm joking. That's sexist. You are sexist, sir. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, it's the question of, do they want to do that? So WWE, yes, they want to develop for the future, and they want to expand, and they want a global presence, and they want the tippy top biggest names in the fucking business, and they want to operate at the highest level in everything they fucking do. And it is about the bottom line, but it's not to the point where they're just nickel and diming and shortchanging people on production or where they're willing to travel to. There's discussions that WWE's like, if the money makes sense, we'll do a White House show, which they should do the Sphere. And I mean, I'd watch WWE Great American Bash at the fucking White House, dude. NXT, I would fucking watch it, dude. The UFC event, it just aesthetically looked so amazing. The production was through the roof. I would watch WWE. For sure, they need to do the Sphere, okay? Fuck the White House, but the Sphere for sure. And the point I'm getting at is, yes, it is the bottom line. But the bottom line only is the bottom line because they do pro wrestling. So when Dave's like, oh, it's not about whatever. Now, mind you, he's saying this as a negative or saying, well, yeah, what did you think? It's always been about this. He also said that to Bryan to try and shut Bryan down. When Bryan was like, well, why doesn't AEW do this? And Dave, years ago, and I clipped it, I think it's in the Sicko Saturday anthem. It's either in the intro for Sicko Saturday or the PWT Saturday night, or it's in the intro for PWT Wednesday night. I forget which one. But Dave talks about it's a business. It's always about making money, Bryan. And he said that to Bryan, like shutting him down before. So it's funny Dave will say this, but then he'll look at AEW and be like, well, they're valued by some mark who writes for Forbes at $2 billion, which doesn't mean that they make $2 billion though, Dave. Like, then he'll go over and not talk about what they're making and pretend like they're not paying $100 million for their goddamn roster, which for sure, like maybe Tone's gotten some of the cost down, but he's just hired more people. Tone just said that last year they brought in more people than he was even expecting to. And then they're about to bring in the New Day. How much do you think they're going to pay for them? How much do you think they got to pay the New Day? We're talking 7 figures each. Okay? The New Day are some 7-figure shut your mouth. Right? Okay? In the hip hop community, there's a term for that, right? But for real, those dudes are gonna get paid to go to fucking AEW. All right? 7 figures each. So what are we talking about here? Like you look at like Mox, Jericho, each buck individually, Kenny, MJF, a bunch of these guys, that's all 3 million plus minimum. All the names I just named. Edge, these are all 3 million plus. Some of those guys make more than that. Some of those guys have multiple job titles where they make way more than that. So I don't know. When Dave's coping about the 185 million and it's about the bottom line. It's always about the bottom line. So you're admitting that AEW is not about the bottom line and is about the wrestling when you say they're in the wrong company, because that's the only thing WWE and AEW do different. It's the only thing. It's just AEW goes, here's matches and here's Tone just, in his mind, excitedly talking about them in a fucking elementary school locker room, showing off his art project he made in the 5th grade or whatever the fuck. That's all Tone's ever done to explain 90% of the fucking matches. And people are like, you need more than that. So other than that, with both, it's all about the wrestling. Look at the PLEs. The PLEs are all wrestling. We tune into the shows every week, and everything we do as fans is Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. We're trying to get to the PLEs. And the PLEs are where shit changes. We get answers to shit. Some things progress, but you do it all in the ring. So when Dave's like, it's never about the wrestling. No, it's more about the wrestling than the company that just goes, here's all wrestling. Because you guys emphasize the wrestling all the fucking time. But in WWE, they emphasize it when it matters at key fucking times. And that's what, I don't know, makes the fruit. They wait until the fruit is ripe and ready to fucking eat before picking the delicious apples and baking the apple pie. They fucking wait till it's delicious. You guys are eating those green bananas over there. Just give me bananas. Give me more bananas. Shove them in. Give me all the bananas, Bryan.
But because of the people.
Well, wrestling itself is about business everywhere.
I've got so many holes to put bananas in, Bryan. And after I'll squish them in my girlfriend's face.
Yeah.
But it's not much of a wrestling promotion.
Yeah. But I mean, well, it's, there are probably exceptions now, and there have been in the past of, vanity promotions and things like that. They have existed, more on the independent level. But on the major level, for the guys who survive, you have to treat it as a business in the sense of, especially in the old days. I mean, you had to make more money than you lost because while these people were healthy financially, the promoters. I mean, they were not poor men, but they were not wildly rich men.
They were not poor men, and Bryan, poor people
people don't like AEW.
They only like WWE.
In the sense that they could lose.
And remember when Dave's like, AEW fans are more educated, wealthier, higher IQ. Poor people don't like AEW. Remember when he was saying all that shit, dude? And then it turns out they're like fucking getting caught in pedo catcher videos and fucking... and then they're fucking like chaining old people up in their basements and shit, right? And then they have to make the tickets cheaper than WWE's tickets get way more expensive. And then WWE fans are such high IQ fucking giga chads that ESPN writes this study or this article about how the WWE fan base has the highest IQ in sports. And then fucking they're such high IQ that they're like serial killer fucking level international traveling stalker, which I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying, man, they say that there's a line between genius and insanity, right? So None of these crazy cult fucking serial killer Jeff Dahmer and shit. I'm sure he was a very maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was let's look this up. Do serial killers tend to have high IQ? Higher IQ. Higher than average IQ. We're going balls deep in the no. So they don't. Serial killers do not tend to have higher than average IQs. The average IQ of known serial killers is approximately 94.5, which falls slightly below the general population average of 100. Okay. So they're dumb fucks. Yeah, what's the difference between like serial killing and like chaining people up in your basement? Because what's the end game there? You're going to let them loose? Like, obviously, if you got 7 people down there and they're just not dead yet, what's more crazy? I would say not killing them is almost more fucking crazy, you know?
$50,000 and it wouldn't.
We committed to the bit there, guys.
Hurt, you know what I mean? So they had to kind of, run a profitable business. I mean, it was, you basically had to.
Shout out AI, man. AI's on point. You know who's got high IQ? AI.
Like now there's, it's not necessarily the case now. It's different. But
I don't even know what
the
Dave's
people who are
talking
running
about.
it now. I mean, they're about, as far as like TKO and everything, they're about squeezing every dime. I mean, that's so there
But
is.
if that was the case, dude, they would like skimp out on production and shit, and we're not seeing that. Whereas when Tone was getting accused of that, that's what you could see on the television. That's what you could see being played out in some of the lawsuits Stone got in.
Difference there, and they don't care about the wrestling. I mean, they care about it making it and UFC making enough profit to cover their giant debt. The interest on their debt, not their whole debt. And I guess making enough profit to cover their lawsuit settlements. I mean, that's
See,
really
look at how Dave just chalks it up. Oh, they need to cover their debt and then to settle lawsuits. So they're making tons of money, and it's all just to pay the debt and the lawsuits. Meanwhile, you're paying these wrestlers so much fucking money, and you have incredible merchandise and all these deals and all of these fan expos and all of these things that are fan service. Now, the prices for some of this shit is not very fan friendly, but they're adjusting that, as we've already seen with like SummerSlam and shit. They're starting to make things a little bit cheaper, so which is good, and they're ramping up house shows and stuff again, so that's good. But I don't know, man. Dave is just fucking cooked and fried here. I don't know what else to say. He's just baked in the brain, like as if the amount of money they're bringing in is just to cover the lawsuits and the fucking settlements and all of this. But then AEW's what? Making money hand over fist? And it's a private company, and they're doing 1,000 people and paying Mox $3 million, and fucking they got 1,000 people at his hometown and shit. Like, he just expects people to believe the stupidest, silliest, dumbest
whole
shit.
debt. And
the reason why they're on debt on paper, they're in debt on paper, is so that they don't have to pay as much taxes and shit like that. Dave, sorry to put you up on game, but it's, they're all fucking made. Do you see how much like Ari Emanuel's getting paid and stuff like that? It came out how much Dana White's getting paid and all of these things. And Dave's just crying about it.
Emotional damage.
Because it's just Tone going out of pocket to pay fucking the Young Bucks, and the company hasn't progressed in any way over on his side of things in the AEW realm. The AEW realm of things. So speaking of the AEW realm, ladies and gentlemen, as you all hit like, you all hit subscribe, and if you're watching the replay, you are hyping the fucking
he had
video.
Cuervo with him the whole time too.
And if you're on X, you're hearting and retweeting and showing your support. So Dave Meltzer, he talks a little bit about AEW, and he talks about Dynamite. He talks about he talked a little bit about Hazuki as well, and he's like, by God, this match that they had, we'll get into that in a second. He's like, oh, this match, they're redoing what they did in San Jose, Brian. But he talks about Suri versus Sky Blue here a little bit. Julian Weeks posts this and says, LOL, So, yeah, let's get into Dave and Bryan discussing. And then we're going to end this thing with some of Dave's friends, okay? We have Dave's friends and people close to him and people who know who he is and are in his life. They felt him, and it's magnificent. So, first, here's Dave discussing Sari and how, or this actually might be Bryan Alvarez without Dave, actually, exposing how Sari was injured way before, but Tone kept promoting that she would be on this match, even though he knew for a long time she wouldn't be on the mat in this match. And then she showed up in his Instagram or Twitter live video. And then she's like, oh, I will not be doing the match. And then Tone's like, thank you, arigato. And then she like walks away and it's all awkward. And then he flew her out there to get like medically evaluated again, or he already knew because Bryan exposes here that Tone already knew. So again, if WWE did this, it would be voted as a disgusting promotional tactic.
Dave is
okay?
so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
But because Dave is the devil, he just glosses over this, hardly talks about it, and then it's up to Cuck Bryan, Shorty Pie Bry, Dry Bry over here to fucking bring this up on his own time.
Sarray was supposed to be in the Owen.
Sarray? I think he's the only guy I've heard her call her Siren.
The day after they announced her for the tournament, she went online and said, I'm injured. I'm not going to be working for at least a month and this and that. And I remember the timing was such that I actually asked, like, something, I mean, why was this announced? She's hurt. And the answer I got was everything advertised for the tournament is planned to happen. I was like, well, I guess he knows something I don't know. So, she... a
lot of people. You can say that about a lot of people there, Bri.
The show this past Monday did an interview with Tokyo Sports. And I mean, this interview was like, this is the worst promotion for a match I've ever seen. She's like, I'm hurt. I shouldn't be doing this match. I'm bringing someone with me for a, backup in case something goes wrong. Chono's like, the interviewer's like, you shouldn't do this match. Don't do it. It was like the weirdest interview and still advertised. And then the day of the show, Tony claims unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, so this is the problem, Brian. Now I have to defend Tone. Now you're making me defend Tone McCon, dude. Are you kidding me?
Tony Khan.
It's kayfabe. Bri, you're not smarter than Tone. I don't give a fuck, dude. He is not smarter than Tone. I don't care what anyone has to say about that. I'll defend Tone on that all day. Infinitely smarter, higher IQ than Bri. Way swaggier than Bri. Here's the thing. And I'm defending Tone here, but it's kayfabe. In Tone's mind, he goes and does those Instagram live videos because it's kayfabe. Again, Dave and Bryan get all worked up over kayfabe. Bryan, you're not even considering the fact that maybe Tone brought her to that TV to get her evaluated by the doctors in hopes that maybe they'll last minute clear her, which would be irresponsible. It shouldn't be. She's last minute good to go, throw her in the ring. That wouldn't be wise either, but Tone will do that because he's reckless and doesn't give a fuck. But he'd have done that. So like you're not even considering that's what Tone could have been hoping the outcome to be. God damn it, buddy. God damn it. And also you're getting worked up by kayfabe again. So WWE does this, and Rey Mysterio is the greatest luchador of all time, Cole. Dave's like, what about El Santo, Brian? Bryan is talking about Tone and is getting worked up by kayfabe when Tone's like, it's great. And this is exactly the problem with those Instagram or Twitter. I call them Instagram videos. We watch them on X. They're X Lives. Here's the problem with those two. It's all kayfabe in Tone's mind. But the way he films it is like a reality thing, but his delivery, everything's phony and cheesy and like on the nose. It's so phony. It's like gobbledygooker, the goon, nails level, the repo man level of insulting our fucking intelligence, talking to people like fucking Blue's Clues, like Steve from Blue's Clues about these matches for 7 minutes straight. And the whole point of the live is like, well, it's like a real feel. You're not working me. You got to make it come across like it's real. But Tone, it's the opposite, and it's kayfabe in his mind. And that's the biggest problem. All that shit Tone says in those videos needs to be on the TV show. Like, we need to see Suri arriving to the building. Will she make this match? What's her face? Sky Blue is expecting Suri in this match. Sky Blue walks up to Suri in the middle of the show. Bitch, I've been training for you all fucking week. You better get cleared because I see you, da-da-da-da-da. And then it's Maya World is the last minute alternate, and then Maya World gets the upset on Sky Blue, and Sky Blue can't believe it. And that should be a through line to the fucking episode of Dynamite or whatever, Collision or whatever. But Tone's not smart enough to fucking do that. And Bry's so dumb, he's getting triggered by Tone's shitty kayfabe. Whoa.
She's not cleared. And it's just like, why in God's name was she announced for this tournament in the first place? That's the first question. And then on Observer Radio, Dave says, well, she was cleared in Japan, but then didn't get cleared here in the U.S. Now.
Yeah, because Dave is a fucking liar.
Liar!
And you take his money, which is fine. Not everyone who writes a check will tell you the fucking truth. You know what I mean? But like, you're in the cuck chair, Brian. That's the cuck chair. I bet if we got a scope of the room, you're in the corner right now.
I don't think Dave's lying. I'm sure somebody told him that. And maybe it's true, okay? But
see, even Bry's question, I don't think Dave's lying. I think he's someone told him that. So his sources are shit, so you don't even trust him. Why the fuck should we trust him when he's
Dave is the devil? Oh.
I will just say that I talked to several people over the last couple of days in Japan, and they are very skeptical that she got cleared in Japan. It was pointed out to me that, you know who's not cleared in Japan? Shibata. But he manages to get cleared by the AEW doctors.
Yeah, because they don't give a fuck. And remember when Bryan was trying to defend? Well, the medical in AEW, you could do it. Some people like it this way. Some people like it that way. WWE's far superior, point blank. And AEW got people cleared who really shouldn't be cleared. And Danielson probably shouldn't be cleared or allowed in the fucking ring. And Saraya, I mean, she's looking good. Who knows? Who knows if any of these people should have really actually been cleared? Okay, God forbid a fucking Chris Benoit situation happens, right? Because motherfuckers are getting cleared who shouldn't. Now, the reason Tone flew him there, and again, this should be flew her there, pardon me, pronouns, pal. This should be considered a disgusting promotional tactic.
Baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
I don't know why I played that sound, but Dave won't consider it that because Tone told her, come here, come to America. Oh, their doctors won't clear you. Mine will clear you. And that just shows you how fucked AEW is. And I mean, you always want a second opinion. But if the second opinion is Tone is privately paying me so much money that if this person's not cleared in Japan, we'll clear them in AEW, though. They'll pass here to go out there for a one-off. This is what I mean. Like, at what point does this is just like sicko shit. Like, Tone, you have 1 billion people on your roster. Where's Camille? Camille couldn't come have a match? Camille couldn't be the alternate and fucking win the whole tournament and everyone go, holy fuck, or whatever. Like, you have so many people on your roster. And shout out Maya World. I'm not even knocking her. I'm just saying, like, you didn't even need to do this. It's just Tone's trying to flex that he has Suri when the rumors are WWE also wants Suri or whatever. And it's gross, dude. At what point, when they end up on Tubi and My AEW and YouTube, does MLW start beating them in the YouTube numbers? And then at what point do they is it just Tone having matches to the death in his backyard, like Pro Wrestling Kumite, where they plan it out, but you go till you die?
I don't know.
Me neither, Lex.
AEW is clearing people and has cleared people that were not cleared in Japan. It was also pointed out.
And were not cleared in other companies by other doctors.
She's cleared in Japan, Why hasn't she been wrestling in Japan? So anyway,
Because Dave's a fucking liar. And Dave's running defense. He's human shielding for Tony Khan.
I have no idea. I mean, this is just like, I mean, I don't know. But at the end of the day, they did sub in Maya World, and because of what happened to Maya World's brother,
Oh my God.
I guess his car broke down, and he was standing on the side of the road, and someone hit him, and he was killed.
That sucks.
And so they gave her.
That sucks. And I guess because. Oh my God, these two guys are fucking. I have to ring it, guys.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Oh, well, because someone killed her brother, they gave her this chance. And it's like, bro, it's not because Tone, like, and again, yes, is that somewhat of a factor? Okay, maybe it made Tone go, she's going through it. This could change her life right now and her family's life and give them something to look at as like a light, which is fucking cool that Tone did that for real. But here's the thing. Maya World also stepped up, quote unquote, when fucking Tegan Knox and them walked out of AEW. Maya World and High-End stepped up and they got fucking squashed, and Tone's been booking them a lot ever since. And you've had people putting over Maya World and High-End backstage. And even Fightful's written shit like, oh, everybody talks so highly of them. So Tone's finally giving someone like that an opportunity. Okay? Maya World and High-End, they're just there to lose a fucking match so someone else can get a shot at the tag titles. Queen Aminata's just there to lose a match so someone can get a shot at the TBS title. Now Maya World's getting her fucking opportunity. Well, her brother was ran over. Oh, that sucks. The guy sitting there with her. That stinks. Yeah, no shit.
The spot in the tournament, and she won. And it was a great feel-good story.
Fuck, man. And it's funny, too, because they try something different, and people are complaining about it. They take Maya World. They're giving her vignettes and promo packages every week. She's been winning. She's a finalist or whatever the fuck in the women's Owen Hart. And they're trying something new, and this is a chance where they could make. This is a girl that nobody knows. People knew her on the indies. Okay, cool. That doesn't matter. Nobody knows her. She wasn't made by WWE. She wasn't made by TNA. AEW can make this girl. And their fans and fucking, I see people crying about it and like, why the fuck I saw JD being like, this is fucking stupid and shit. It's like, no, it's not. This is what the Owen Hart should be. Owen Hart always felt disrespected, like he was the underling. He had something to prove to Brett. That's what this tournament shouldn't be, so Britt Baker and Adam Cole can get matching fucking titles on their honeymoon that gets called off because they break up. Right? I don't know if that happened, but like, weren't they married or weren't they going to get married or something like that? Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm not Elboo. I'm not going to make fucking rumors up about them, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like the tournament shouldn't be, the Owen Hart tournament shouldn't be so some guy who should be Will Ospreay, who should be the world champion, can get a fucking pink belt because he's a mark for fucking New Japan, and Owen Hart wrestled in Japan a bit. That shouldn't be what it's for. It should be for people like Maya World to fucking win this belt that doesn't, build people up, get somebody in contention, somebody makes a name, makes a statement in the tournament. That's what it should be about. So unfortunately, Tone just makes this tournament and goes, the winner gets a shot at the world title. Dumbass, terrible booker, not booker, hashtag not booker of the year, and all the fans are mad at it. It's like, at least they're fucking trying something different, and at least they're actually building someone up correctly. Like, this is how you do it. Oh, there's a tournament. Here's a new face. We'll give her vignettes, let people know she is. She fucking knocks off, like, Sky Blue's a good opponent. Sky Blue's like a mid-lower. And so, oh, come on now, Phil. That's not very fair. She's mid-lower. She's not mid-upper. She's mid-lower. That's how she's been booked. Blame Tone. So, a mid-lower, it's a good win for Maya World. I don't fucking know. It's all good.
Saray was supposed to
but
be
it's just funny how again, Bry just questions Dave and just exposes him on Wrestling Observer or Figure 4 Online, whatever you want to call this dumbass show. Same shit, different pit. And he just felts Dave for fucking being a liar and embellishing and running cover for Tone. So funny. So, speaking of running cover, Dave Meltzer talks about the AEW Dynamite ratings. And Dave goes, well, AEW did 542K, 0.08, and 18-49 on Wednesday against the monster NBA number. It was a super, super top number, Brian. Still third in the time slot on cable and ninth overall for the night. That's panel plus big data. Old school panel numbers have been far higher as of late. So now Dave has access to the old panel numbers too, which I get it. He's doing math, but it's Meltzer math. So he's doing it incorrectly. I guarantee it. If he posted, however he's coming to these conclusions, he's way off. Also, Dave's such a boomer. He hits space after it automatically. When you put a period, it does the space, but then he adds an extra space. And again, he goes old school panel. So now he's bringing up the old panel numbers of why this is a way bigger number, and it would have been monstrous. It would have been $1 million if not for the NBA. And even though wasn't NBA and shit on HBO Max and stuff, isn't it on TNT or whatever? So how many people who typically stream Dynamite didn't stream it till the day after or whatever the fuck? Dave's just always coping, and this is just another example of him coping over the fucking ratings.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard, coping and seething.
So speaking of coping and seething, this is a longer clip, but it is just a fucking gem. Shout out at lifer_oner. Jason G from the SAT posts, at least Brian gets it. Uncle Dave is fucking hopeless. So again, Dave Meltzer, whenever the crowd is dead for Dynamite, Dave blames the
only
fans.
reason I know about this is because I know about it.
He blames the fans, and he says the fans are shit, and 1,200 people show up in Cincy, and he blames the fans, and it's the marketing or the fans or whatever. It's not because nobody's over and they're not drawing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if Edge and Christian aren't fucking wrestling. They don't care if they're cutting a promo. They don't understand any of the stories. They just have matches for the sake of matches. Daniel Garcia's a fucking goof. They get a tag match with Garcia in it, and they're like, why the fuck didn't we get a tag match with Edge and Christian in it? People don't care. They don't know about the stories. When Jericho goes to Winnipeg, and Winnipeg doesn't even know the fucking, what have I become? And dude, I live in Canada. They don't play like Fozzy on the radio, really. I think they played Judas a little bit. They played You're my enemy, my enemy. They played that back in the day. I think there was one other Fozzy song that got some radio play, but they really don't get any radio play out here, even on the rock stations or anything like that. They go to Winnipeg. The people don't even know his fucking theme music. He's expecting them to sing along. They just know it's Chris Jericho. And they're like, oh, former WWE guy, Chris Jericho, that everybody was hyped to see return at the Rumble, and he never did. Okay, that's all it fucking is when they go to these places where, and then even in Cincinnati, they don't have that vibe for Mox. Nobody gives a fuck. Less people care. And then they go to wherever they were for this last show, and they did 3,300 people. And I was like, good for Dynamite. But again, it's just cheap tickets. It's a wrestling show. I bet you on the radio locally to whatever town they're in, former WWE superstars Edge and Christian and Chris Jericho will be there and shit. That's how they have to promote it. Nobody knows what the Young Bucks are and shit. Nobody cares about Kevin Knight. I'm sorry. And I like Kevin Knight and shit, but it's like you got to make people care. Nobody knows who Mike Bailey is and shit like that. So yes, 3,300 people. That's awesome. How much of that is because the tickets are so cheap for these Dynamite fucking shows? I don't know. But they're not increasing in popularity. Like, just because last year their average was lower because they ran a bunch of residencies where they did 900 seaters and shit like that. So on average it's lower. It doesn't mean it's like way higher attendances, right? Like, them doing, like, Dynamite should be drawing 5,000 or more people for it to not be LOL. If it's not doing that, and if you're alternating between this town we do 1,200, this town we do 4,000, this town we do 2,000, this town we do 3,300, it's LOL. Okay? People want to LOL SmackDown for doing 6,000. Oh, it looks like it's not as hot. Yeah, but then this one does 12K. This one does, this one does fucking 9K. This one does 10K. If the SmackDown starts doing like 4K and shit, okay, then that's an L. I'll keep the same energy. 5K and below for a televised wrestling show that you're trying to say is a challenger brand to WWE and shit, it's a fucking L. And some of their pay-per-views, like, look at the attendance for Forbidden Door. Like, they're lucky if they even get 8,000 people to some of these shows, some of these pay-per-views and shit. So Dave blames the fans. It's never because the booking's bad, the shows don't make sense, the formatting isn't good. It's just wrestling. Fans go to these live shows not only to see crazy-ass matches. Yes, pay-per-views for sure. All the hardcores pull up. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in the front row. Jeff Dye's in the front row fucking twerking. Right? We get it, but let's listen to these two. And Bry kind of goes off and owns Dave here. And this is a W for fucking dry Bry tonight.
Let's move on to Dynamite. So
I got to say one thing about Dynamite.
Yes. I'm going to say a lot about it, but go ahead.
Okay. They put on a good show. I mean, actually, a really good show.
So again, I can't even get into it because Dave goes, it's a good show, but you say your star system's based on how the crowds move. So was it a good show because this crowd was anti-moved? So now he's going to argue these were still good matches, even though he told Chris Van Vliet, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. I watched the interview. It's a 3-hour, almost 4-hour episode of DMDMW, a bonus episode where he tells Chris Van Vliet, well, it's based if the crowds move, then it's good. If they're not, I mean, But now he's going to debate how this was a great show, even though the crowd didn't give a fuck. So Dave just makes it up as he goes to fucking sweep for AEW.
In front of a freaking terrible audience. I mean, that, between the Osprey thing, it's
Osprey thing was boring and went too long, and it's just more of the same. And it's Swerve showing up, and he's never on TV, and people don't even fucking remember him.
When Tony Schiavone congratulates Will Ospreay, who gets the biggest reactions on the shows most weeks, about getting married, and you get the golf clap. It's like it's not even big, and I mean everyone probably expected it to be huge. And that first match, which was a hell of a,
because they don't know Will Ospreay, bro. Like, Will Ospreay's not as he normally gets the biggest reactions. Yes, in like 1,000 seaters, he gets big reactions. And at the pay-per-views, where you draw the most amount of people, he gets the bigger reaction. Sure, it's the fucking sickos going to these goddamn shows, so they know what's up. Okay, but how do you get them to go to every week? People are trained. Again, WWE trains all these brainwashed idiots, Brian. Well, AEW should learn something and train these people to want to go and be engaged in their fucking shows. Now, WWE had a terribly shitty crowd. You can get shitty crowds. But it's the fact that Dave always blames the fans, right? And SmackDown, they were in Rhode Island. They were in Providence, I believe. Terrible fucking crowd. Terrible crowd. And they were packed. They had, I think, like 10,000 people there. Terrible fucking crowd. SmackDowns haven't been that good, and people are saying it, like SmackDowns haven't been the best fucking shows overall. Baltimore, I think they were in Baltimore last time, right? They were fucking crazy and rowdy. Maybe that was Raw, I forget. It's so much goddamn wrestling, it all bleeds together. But the point I'm making is, why is it never on the show being good enough? So whenever the crowd's crazy, boy, it's because AEW's so great. And then whenever the crowd's shitty, the crowd's just so shitty. These shows are fantastic. No, they're boring. The build to Forbidden Door has been one of the worst builds to any pay-per-view, I think, in recent memory with AEW.
Match with Moxley and Daniel Garcia against Brody King and Bandito. And they did get into the last match.
Stop trying to make Fetch a thing. Stop trying to make Fetch a thing. Stop trying to make Garcia a thing. He's anti fucking the crowd. He's anti whatever people go, oh, we love that. You don't want to see him get beat up. You don't want to see him fucking wiggle his dick. You don't want to see him fucking win matches. You don't want to see him pretend like he's serious. You don't want to see that shit. Nobody has ever paid to see that shit.
But the Mercedes match, like those two, my God, they worked so hard. They tried to duplicate their match from Long Beach. I don't know if it was quite as good as Long Beach.
Listen to what he's saying. So Hazuki and Monet tried to duplicate their match from Long Beach to South Central. Oh, not these again. Grown-ass ignorant man with hair.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Put your dubs up, chat. Dubs up for the West Coast. No, but what was I saying? Whatever. He's talking about Long Beach. Oh, they tried to redo their match in Long Beach. What match in Long Beach?
Long Beach, but man, Hazuki was really good, and they did get the crowd. I mean, it took them 20 minutes practically to get that crowd, and doing everything and all these near falls and working so hard and fast. I mean, it like literally.
They're doing all these near falls and working so hard and fast. Okay, so like Javon and Penta did, and you said it wasn't that great of a match, but this was a great match, even though the crowd gave a fuck about Penta and Javon, and they didn't give a fuck about this. Maybe your way stinks, Dave. And the masses, there's no mass appeal to your way and Tone's way.
It took 20 minutes before these people would get into these matches, other than the main event, the 12-man, which was what it was. But it was like, and that did get a pretty decent reaction. And I heard in the, we'll talk about Collision later, but I heard Mystico got a giant reaction on Collision.
Of course you did, Mystico, Brian. Well, I heard that, Mystico, Brian. He got a bigger pop than the OTC. That's what they said.
Especially the entrance. But
do you see this shit? Oh my god. See, this is Dave look at the look on his face too. He knows what he's doing. So with El Grande Americano, everyone went, man, the entrance, that match, and Dave tried to cope and go, the presentation, it was one of the best matches because of the presentation of all time. People went, the entrance was spectacular. Ariel Hawani's like, that entrance was one of the greatest moments in wrestling, and because it was a moment. And again, Mystico does the entrance all the time, so people don't care, and people don't even know what you're talking about. The majority of people don't even know what you're talking about. The reason why that entrance was special is because every time El Grande makes his entrance, it's not that type of entrance. And that's what made it so special. Again, less is more. Quality over quantity. You mush-brained fucking redact. Here's the thing with Dave, though. He slips that in. He just had to fucking pepper that in. He just had to fucking pepper that one in right there. And go, especially the entrance. I heard Mystico on Collision got a massive pop, and that's why Tone stuck him on Collision, because people care so much about Mystico, especially the entrance, Brian. Why? Because the narrative lately is he wants to try and, because what did he say about Ariel? Oh, the Mystico entrance is way bigger and better. People pop way more for it. Mystico's entrance is way better than El Grande's, Brian. That's what he tried to say about that, and that's how he quote tweeted and responded to Ariel, so he had to just pepper that in. Especially the entrance, they popped for that more than the moves. What a fucking goober.
Especially the entrance. But they didn't, I don't think that they added any specific matches on Collision either, but yeah, long. It's the worst. It's like I don't know what they could have done, because it's like the promos didn't get it.
Long. What is he saying here? Long is the worst.
I don't think that they added any specific matches on Collision either. But yeah, long. It's the worst. It's like I don't know what they could have done.
Long dick. I mean, the worst. In my bum. Tony Khan. What was he even trying to say there?
Because it's like the promos didn't get a reaction, the matches didn't get a reaction until the very end.
What was he long? The worst. Except the matches, Brian. What the fuck were you trying to say?
And Tony booked a show thinking that he was going to have these 3 great matches on the show because he knew the Mercedes match with Hazuki had been like literally people yelled at me for giving it 4 3/4 stars. That's how great the match was, for being too low. And
people yelled at Dave for rating a fucking match nobody heard of till today, rating it too low. I gave it 4 3/4 when it was in the Bay Area when I was live in attendance, getting my foot rubbed by fucking Joshis from the Skybox. I gave it 4 3/4 star back massage. Brian, a 5 for the happy ending. And he's sitting there fucking talking about this match nobody even knows about, and people yelled at me and they did the same thing, but this crowd was dead, and so they're fucking brain dead dumb fucks. Like, what point are you trying to make? They don't care. That's for a specific type of fucking fan. No one knows who Hazuki is. They don't give a shit, Dave. What don't you understand about this? People don't care about just like moves for the sake of moves. Like you. You're a fucking mark.
It was one of the best women's matches ever in the United States, ever, that match. And so when you have...
According to you.
That I thought, it's going to be too bad because he's going to go and rightly so. It's a TV show. Give him
just because you've seen all the matches doesn't mean you fucking know what the best ones are.
15 minutes, it can't meet what the other one is. Well, he went in there and he went with the idea that I'm giving him 22 minutes. They're going to be able to come close to duplicating that match. That was the goal. And you have a Brody.
So how do you know what the goal was with Tone? Like, because Tone ran it by you, or because you suggested it to Tone, and that's why you're fucking sad flute coping right now? That's why Dave suggested they do this match.
King Bandito match. And it's like, those guys are such a great
Well,
team.
if I may jump in here,
yes.
This is all fine and good, but you're also performing before a live audience in a specific town. And how many people in this audience saw the first Hazuki match?
Well, the nobody had seen it in Long Beach either.
Well, the point is, they got into the match in the end, but they weren't invested in the match.
Nobody saw it in Long Beach either. Yeah, buddy. Nobody saw it to this day. Okay.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Like, the people saw it there. Okay. Most people don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. The masses, the majority of casual wrestling viewers. And they weren't, I guarantee you, if you watch the Monet versus Suzuki match in Long Beach, if they are going crazy, great. I bet they're not going that crazy. And also, they are like Nuge fans. They're marks for that. AEW wants to go, we're the challenger. WWE, we present a challenge. We have more flavors of ice cream. We're the smorgasbord. We're the buffet. So people want to see superstars. They go to wrestling shows expecting we're going to see larger than life athletes and stars, not Garcia, who's the same size as the 15-year-olds in the crowd, wiggling his dick, and fucking Brody King doing the Macarena, and Edge and Christian cutting a boring ass promo. Okay? They want to see superstars, fireworks, fucking big, larger than life wrestlers. That's how people view wrestling. And there's no motion right now with AEW because they don't offer that. And the guys they have like that, they don't capitalize on them.
No, they weren't.
And they weren't invested in the Bandito match going in. And I realized that sometimes I'm out all afternoon, but I had no idea that match was taking place.
Oh, well,
absolutely no idea. It was just a cold match. It's just Brodito's facing the Death Riders.
Well, okay. So
that's all fine and good, but what's the story of that match? Like, what's going on there? What's going to get the crowd invested from the beginning of this match? What's going to get them invested if the audience is great?
And Dave can't even let him talk. Like every time he starts making a point, oh well, it's like
the nobody had seen it in Long Beach either.
Well,
nobody.
The point is they
weren't,
and they weren't invested in the Bandito match going in, and like I realize that sometimes I'm out all afternoon, but I had no idea that match was taking place.
Oh, well,
absolutely no idea. It was just a cold match.
Listen, let me explain why it still works, and it's just blame the fans, Brian. It's never like, well, why aren't they reacting? Why are the crowds smaller? Why aren't people as invested in AEW and the tickets are cheaper? Why is that the case? Is it blame the fans because they're all dumb fuck idiots and you're all elitists and you said fuck a casual for 5 years and now you're begging for casuals? And then now you get some casuals and they don't care about what you're offering? Or is it just, is it fuck them or is it on the creative and like what Tony Khan's doing with the fucking, it's crazy.
It's just Brodito's facing.
Finally, Bry's fucking trying to say this and Dave can't, let me explain quickly.
The Death Riders.
Well, okay, so
that's all
trying,
Brian. But
trying,
what's the story of that match? Like, what's going on there? What's going to get the crowd invested from the beginning of this match? What's going to get them invested is the audience is great.
Okay, well,
it's like it wasn't even. There was no angle shot. There was no announcement last week that Brodito was coming back. There was no angle to put this match together. It just opened with a match.
Yeah, well, it had its purpose, but it was Houston, Texas.
Well, it had its purpose. But what's the?
Are you sure about that?
What's the purpose, Dave?
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
And Bry's just like stun locked. Look at his face, dude. He's just like, oh my God. He's stun locked. It's like, well, what's the purpose? That's what Bry was just saying. And Dave goes, well, it had its purpose. Name what the purpose was besides what you and Tone texted about. And then he goes, well, it's Houston, Texas. There's like 1 billion people live in Texas, bro. All my exes live in Texas. There's like 80 billion people in Texas. So why aren't they drawing bigger crowds? And why are you blaming H-Town? Why are you blaming Houston, Texas?
It was Houston, Texas, and it was Bandito who, when he's been in Houston, Texas, gets over like crazy. This was just...
Prove that. You just make that up?
A crowd that look, like...
This was just... So, okay, Bandito normally gets over like crazy, even if you just stick him out there to do whatever, and this show is amazing, but just fuck this crowd. Or was it that they stuck Bandito out there? Dave's listing all the tricks Tone thought they'll give these girls 22 minutes. This hour is 22 minutes. Canadians know that show. Shout out Rick Mercer. But they gave him 22 minutes to fucking have a banger. They had Bandito out there. So Tone did all the tricks. He pulled out all the stops. And it didn't work. So maybe is it because the show is bad, Dave? Or are you just going, fuck H-Town, fuck Houston? Dave, I'm going to send Derek Lewis on your ass.
Again, Will Ospreay and Swerve have been building this thing up for this whole tournament. They were out there, and
No, they haven't been building this up the whole tournament. They have not. And if you think this has been building it up for the whole tournament, it has not been. It's just been predictable. Well, it's going to be Swerve and Ospreay. And Swerve did more to build against his match with Bandito in the tournament than the Will Ospreay thing. And the Bandito shit played out in Ring of Honor as well. Some shit people didn't see. It's fucking booked terribly, Dave.
They had that long promo segment, and the people didn't react. I mean, again,
well, it was also a very, very long promo segment, and Swerve's out there talking about how one day I just was sent home for 6 weeks because
I don't really know what that was.
I didn't either, and I'm sitting there thinking, this crowd's sitting here watching these guys talk about a lot of stuff for a long time, and I'm recapping it.
They don't know Swerve. They don't know Swerve anymore. I'm sorry. He changed his music. The whole thing was whose house? top rope, catch a vibe. Then Swerve's a mark for himself, so he had to record a new song and come back with this new song. It's not as catchy. The Prince Nana thing's done. It's cooked. Swerve is not over like he pretends he is. He's a great wrestler physically and whatnot. He's good on the stick and everything. He conveys good emotion and stuff. It's all good, but he's not consistent enough in TV. None of his storylines have made sense. So then he comes, I've been gone for 6 weeks. None of them even know. None of them know that.
Kind of going, okay, what are you talking about here? I mean,
especially because you just wrestled in this fucking tournament. And Dave's going, oh, they got this whole tournament over the whole time. He just said he wasn't there for 6 fucking weeks and was tweeting about how Tone needs to put him on TV.
It was long.
It was. Okay, I agree. I agree. It was too long. Okay, but the fact is,
there's always a but.
Swerve is one of the most over guys in the company. Will is probably right now the most over guy in the company.
Oh my God, no, that's not true. MJF by far is the most over guy in the company. And when you say by far, so MJF is by far Ospreay's more over than him. Like, think about what you're saying, you dumb fuck. And you're like, nobody's over. That's the problem, or else this wouldn't happen. Because what happens is you're Roman Reigns and you pull up to a fucking city and people just go nuts for you because you're Roman Reigns. That's what being over is. The most over guy in this company to the sickos in select markets and not in the UK. Like,
and they both came out and they got a tepid reaction. You know, I mean, I won't say tepid, but they got a weak reaction. It was stunningly weak. And it's like they're already starting below zero.
I don't want to say tepid. So look at this shit. Tepid definition, right? Slightly warm or lukewarm. I don't want to say tepid, but then he goes even harsher. Stunningly weak. Dave, that's way worse than tepid. You fucking idiot. He doesn't know what words mean.
Bro, I mean, this was just... I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? They were into MJF, so maybe he's the hottest guy in the company right now. But
you see this? Oh, MJF's the hottest guy in the company right now. Yeah, he's the most over guy. He always has been. This is why all ins have been built around him, and they did the year-long thing with Adam Cole that didn't pay off and shit. MJF is the most consistent over guy. Samoa Joe, way more over than any of you guys even care to talk about.
Well, MJF...
Because he doesn't hug Tone. He fucking shakes his hand.
It's got something simple that, like, MJF is a champion, and he's got a whole bunch of challengers, and he doesn't want to face a particular one. Like, this is a thing they've done on TV for a long time. Like, you know, this is something the crowd can easily get into. It's something...
You guys hear that ding? That's Dave's phone. Tone's texting me right now, Bryan. Let me actually get the real reason from Tone right now.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
This is what's happening. He's a champion. He doesn't want to face Mark Briscoe, but he's got all these challengers. He's got to address them. I mean, even Christian and Copeland, like, no announcement they were going to be back. They just showed up.
Yeah, but
backstage segment.
In theory, Adam Copeland's a big star.
Okay, but if you don't announce it or build it up or give, what is Edge doing? This is the problem with AEW. Oh, they're big stars. So Okada was a big star in Japan, Bryan, and Omega was a big star in Japan, and Edge was a big star in WWE. They're in AEW now. So now what? Now what? What do you do with them there? Chris Jericho's a big star too. If he had have went back to WWE, people would have went fucking nuts. The internet would have broke. There would have been all these viral video meltdowns of his music hitting at the Rumble. The casual fans would have lapped it up. ESPN would have wrote articles. It would have been the bee's fucking knees. And the attendances would have been strong, and you could go, that's because of Jericho. But they're weak in AEW, even though it's fucking Jericho, because nobody gives a shit about Jericho in AEW, because no one cares about AEW, and they don't give him anything interesting to do. Can you guys not fucking deduce this shit down by now? Will Ospreay, Paul Walter Hauser, all the cope they're doing. I covered it on PWT Live Show, Time Cop, every Wednesday and Saturday. The cope they're doing, they can't just reduce it down to AEW ain't doing anything fucking interesting. So Edge is going to be there. Doing what? If Edge pulled up to a fucking Home Hardware, help is close to home, like Brock Lesnar did, Would he draw thousands of people to pull up and fucking get a signing from him? Doubtful. But if he has something of substance to do, if he's getting ready to fight the demon Finn Balor at WrestleMania in a Hell in a Cell over the Judgment Day or whatever, that's some cool shit that people want to pay money to fucking see. So again, no announcement, just Edge and Christian. Well, Edge is a big draw. Okay, but what is he doing? Like what else besides that? You're just relying on ex-WWE / ex-Nuge / here's some matches with some fucking vanilla midgets, as Kevin Nash would call them.
And he's an ex-WWE guy, so if you're going in there,
and he's an ex-WWE guy. He hasn't been there in years.
Oh, it's the old WWE crowd that doesn't only cares about the ex-WWE guys. They didn't Adam Copeland did a very good promo, and
so Dave is like steel manning arguments here or straw manning arguments, like, oh, and if you want to say it's just an ex-WWE people who like WWE guy crowd. That's what mostly anyone who goes to an AEW show or watches AEW also likes and watches WWE, Dave. I don't know if you understand this. You don't study and learn. You've never studied Wagyu beef or the business, right?
Poor people don't like AEW.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
But most people who like AEW also watch and like WWE. Most people who like WWE don't like and also watch AEW.
I mean, I'm watching going, he's doing a pretty damn good promo, and he wasn't getting a big reaction either. It was just a tough audience.
And here's the problem when you do every fucking week. So they did Anarchy in the Arena, right? And then like a week or two later, so that's on their pay-per-view, on Collision, you have Shane, or maybe it was Dynamite, you had Shane Taylor Promotion fighting the Death Riders all throughout the arena, hardcore match. And we had an 8-woman Falls Count Anywhere tag match like a week before that on fucking Collision or whatever. So again, when you're just attracting those fans, they just expect to see the carnage and the blood and the guts too. So you can't, then when you want to try and lean on promos, they're going to reject that too. Tone booked himself by listening to your dumb fried ass into a corner.
And that promo wasn't too long, and that promo was direct. Granted, they shot the angle backstage, but they've been building this up. They've been building up the dogs against Adam and Christian for weeks, actually.
But just because you do something doesn't mean like, oh, they've been building it up, right? But what's the quality of build? It hasn't been good. There's nobody online going, man, the fucking dogs versus ENC versus Cope and Cage. I can't wait. Nobody's saying that, bro. Nobody really cares, and it's a proxy war. It's like, okay, some people come to work. Some guys are there every week. Most people aren't there every week if you're a bigger name. And so it's guys fighting around other guys, and they don't really interact. And people can get mad at WWE. Why do they 50-50 book? Oh, it's another run out, because they need the people to interact to generate the heat. So people go, these two don't fucking like each other or whatever. And it's always proxy wars in AEW. It's always like this guy's fighting all these other people, and then they fucking finally fight Edge and Christian, who come to work once a month or whatever. It's fucking or twice a month. One TV and one, 2 TVs and a pay-per-view a month or whatever their contracts are. So again, it's proxy wars. It's stupid. It's bullshit. You fight the ops and then you fight Joe. And you don't interact with Joe before then. People don't give a fuck. They don't go, oh, this guy hates Joe or whatever. It doesn't build towards them. So that's why 50-50 booking, it does kind of work. And as much wrestling shows as there are, you kind of need to do that. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it, but WWE does it effectively. It makes you care about feuds and shit. Like, people want to beat each other. That's what it boils down to. And if someone has a win over you, it gives you incentive to get a win back. And even though it's cheap, low-hanging fruit that's been done to death, it's something. It's better than nothing, So the build to the dogs and Edge and Christian, I mean, I guess so, dude, but no one's clamoring for it. So why would they be clamoring for it in the building? Just because you do some shit shittily doesn't mean that people should just lap it up. And this is what I mean. Like, people go, oh, the Fed brain slop. No, dude, I want to pay a ticket and see Danhausen be funny. and see the fucking fireworks go off on up Kit Wilson's ass and after he gets cursed or whatever. Like it's juvenile, it's silly. Of course, it's a part of wrestling. That's the argument. Just enjoy wrestling, man, and it's all a part of wrestling. Exactly. So I enjoy that funny shit in doses too. I want to pay to see that. Nobody wants to pay to just see like people tease matches and then the pay-per-view they do the fucking match and then I have to watch Garcia fucking do the Macarena in the middle of it. Like, I'm sorry, dude.
So it's not like it's cold.
It's not, but it's also a program that everybody knows what it is. It's a thing in the middle. The big match for Cope and Christian is going to be at Wembley. It's going to be the Bucks or it's going to be whoever.
Well, it should be a three-way ladder match. It shouldn't. And I don't think Finlay and
see, he's just spoiling it, bro. Like, it's fine because it's what it should be. Dave is right. The problem with AEW is that they're finally building to an all-in where everything is what it should be, and now it's just overly predictable. And it's just unfortunate, but it'll be a four-way ladder match. And what we're going to get is Tone is going to recreate the New Day at WrestleMania when they're like, it's going to be a four-way ladder match. But who could the opponents be? Who? Then the Hardy Boys come out. They're going to do the same thing at All In. Tone's going to steal that, and it's going to be a team or some, Garcia and Yuta or just some fucking the Outrunners or something, just something, some throwaway team Tone doesn't care about. They're going to be like, it's a four-way match, and then fucking New Day are going to come out. That's what's going to happen, and then they're going to make their way to the ring, and then it'll be a four-way ladder match. FTR, Bucks, Edge and Christian, New Day, they're going to win the straps. Then you get Edge and Christian versus the New Day, and then Edge and Christian, who knows how long their deals are even around for. I think Edge is coming up in 27. And then you have fucking New Day can fight the Bucks and FTR from there or whatever. So it makes sense. I'm kind of hyped for it, not going to lie. But to say the build has been anything good is just, it's asinine.
Connor should be in there. I think it should be the FTR, Young Bucks, and Copeland and Christian.
Yeah, and Dave already knows what the card is. He's already spoiled it. So speaking of spoiler, we are playing spoiler to Dave here. And the reason for that is because even Dave's own friends destroy him. And if you head to patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes, I did a bonus episode of DMDMW where I went over Dave and I made a list on the air of Dave, or in the recording, of all of Dave's best friends and what he claims they've done and how it makes him an expert in different fields. And it's one of the craziest meltdowns of all time of him trying to explain how he starts by saying he's really close friends with this girl that he saw on the news. And then it turns into a 4-minute spurg out of him trying to explain how he actually wasn't friends with this girl, but because she was on the news talking about politics, it makes him a political expert. And it turns out she lived in the neighborhood over from him. It's one of the craziest things possibly ever in the history of fucking DMDMW. So check out patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes for bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. And we have 2 new entries here into the best friends. You're my best friend. Yeah, real bad bitch, got all money. Yeah. So one of Dave, and this is courtesy of Meltzer Said What, by the way. Shout out the GOAT. We always have to shout out the GOAT. Meltzer Said What. So he says one of Dave's best friends who had a famous lawsuit with a wrestling character that was settled out of court and who was very satisfied with the outcome, but couldn't disclose any further to Dave due to the NDA. So one of Dave's best friends, now he says everyone's his best friend. He says everybody's his best friend. Okay? And he says he's close to so many fucking people and it doesn't even make sense. But one of his best friends had a famous lawsuit with a wrestling character and it was settled out of court. And this person was, quote, very satisfied with the outcome, but he couldn't tell Dave anything further than that due to the NDA that the guy signed. And it's like, why even bring this up?
That, when you sign an NDA, I mean, you're supposed to not tell anyone. I mean, anyone, not your buddies, not anything. I mean, I had,
It depends what is in the NDA, Dave. Not all NDAs are the same. And if it's criminal activity, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
One of my best friends was involved in a lawsuit with a famous wrestling character, and it was settled out of court. And the only thing that he could tell me was,
it was the Yeet guy, Brian. Remember the Yeet guy? Stephen P. New helped him fucking settle with Jey Uso.
Was that I was very satisfied with the outcome. And he goes, and I cannot tell you anymore. And I remember when Martha Hart, had to settle.
See, so again, Dave takes these criticisms that are levied against Tony Khan. And when people go NDAs, and he goes, oh, the NDAs, that's all nonsense. And meanwhile, it's like, well, why doesn't Punk or Cody Rhodes tell the truth about AEW and shit? Because they signed NDAs, but long enough time will pass. They can talk about it in books and shit. But Dave is on some shit now where it's like talking about WWE's NDAs. But when it comes to AEW, I'm pretty sure he's like, oh, the Chris Jericho NDA stuff, that's all ridiculous. Tone addressed that at the fucking press conference.
Tell you anymore. And I remember when Martha Hart, had the settlement with WWE. Now, it did come out in other places that the settlement with WWE over Owen's death was $18 million, which at the time was a giant number. And if it happened today, I would bet you that the award would be like 4 times that, just because of the nature of so many different things. But that was the number at the time. But until that came out, like, she could not tell Brett, and Brett was furious at the time of, being, supportive of her and the whole thing. And she just goes, I can't tell you, I can't tell you. So anyway.
So, like, again, Dave is the expert in NDAs because his best friend apparently told him that he's not allowed to say anything from an NDA. Well, shit. Thanks, Sherlock. Thanks for telling us shit we already know. And lastly, one of the greatest clips of all time has fallen into our laps. This happened 2 days ago on the Bryan and Vinny show. Brian's daughter asked a pressing question. Listen to this. This is one of the greatest things of all time. And Bri, shout you out for your daughter. She gets a bass flute. Listen to this shit. This is the greatest thing of all time.
Where's the guy that has papers everywhere in his room?
The guy that has
Dave.
Oh shit!
He's not on this show.
We're laughing. That's true.
He's not on this show. I'm
God.
sorry.
Where's the guy that has papers everywhere in his room?
The guy that has
Dave.
Let's go! Oh my!
He's not on this show.
We're laughing. That's true.
He's not on this show. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Listen, one more. Where's the guy that has papers all over his fucking room? Look at Dave. This little kid is like, why doesn't this mister? Why don't you clean your room? Oh my God, dude.
Where's the guy that has papers everywhere in his room?
The guy that has
Dave.
He's not on this show.
We're laughing. That's true.
He's not on this show. I'm sorry.
I don't know why we're laughing. That's true. Yeah, you're laughing because it's true. Way to kill the vibe. Buzzkill. Dave, you get felted by 6-year-olds. You got papers every goddamn where. And that's why I do this show. And it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
I've been Phil S. Marks. Make sure you hype the video if you're watching this on replay. I appreciate you all. I will see you on the next one.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. that they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon.
this before you cut me off? We
Yeah,
know
go ahead.
one thing.
Yes. They-
We know it
No,
might have done well because
I'm
it went
not-
on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.